What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great afternoon. It's about that time. We're going to get started here in a minute. This is just kind of a real chill, relaxed, kind of fun stream. We're just going to talk, look at some memes, laugh, try to figure them out when we don't understand what they mean. Because what's cool about this is these streams, when we do them, we've got people from all over the world. They're going to be people here from every continent except Antarctica, if I can pronounce right today. So some of these are going to be funny to some of us, and the rest of us are going to be sitting there staring at it like we have no idea what it means. But it's also just a chance to chat and have fun and say hi and just kind of talk about fun things. So that's what we're going to do. So everybody take a quick minute before we get started. We've already got 80 people in here. So just tell us what city and country you are in right now as you're watching. I am in Northeast Ohio, right outside of Youngstown, Ohio. It's the closest town that you'll find on a map. If you're looking at Cleveland and Pittsburgh, it's about halfway between the two. That's where I am. So we have lag already. Are you kidding? Oh, this is terrible. All right, hold on a second. Give me a quick second. Let's see how we're doing now. All right, we should be good now. Yeah, it was some stupid update on Steam was downloading at the same time I was trying to stream. I didn't realize Steam was still open. That's why. We should be good now. Let me know if you're still seeing any trouble. Cardiff in the UK. Awesome. Always like to see somebody in Wales. I'm just catching up with everything on the chat now. Brendan in Ohio. Welcome, fellow Buckeye. Latvia, Sweden. Fayetteville, Arkansas. All right. Zach, thank you, sir. Finland, very cool. Pennsylvania. Greenland, really? Awesome. You might be the first person I've seen say that they were in Greenland. Yankton, South Dakota. I've been to South Dakota a few times. Bucharest, Romania, very cool. Northwest PA, Iron Dragon. What part of Northwest PA? My daughter was born in Greenville. I went to college in Greenville in Northwest PA. Taurus, Cows, Monocacy. All right, we got 150 people going already. Very cool. Ohio State's playing right now. What am I doing? What's the score of that game? Let's check that out. They're playing Illinois for the Big Ten Championship. Let's see what's going on before we start with our memes. Oh, they're just now starting. Okay. Come on, Buckeyes. You can do this. Remagen, Germany. Awesome. Scranton. Okay. Northeast PA. Rostov, Russia. Very cool. Then the winged hussars arrived. All right, first one up today. I just kind of picked a random spot in our Discord where everybody's been submitting history memes. So this one looks like it's Borat. Portugal during the Age of Discovery. I go to Africa, India, Arabia, Brazil, Persia, Ayutthaya. I don't even know where that is. Spice Islands, Khmer, China, and Japan. Yes, that's about right. Ooh, Ohio State. Well, Torsk. Sorry, man. Leipzig, Germany. Very cool. Maryland is better, he says. Things that disappear when you need them the most. Keys, the Avatar. My daughter would appreciate that. Gondor, and Poland's allies in 1939. Ouch. Harsh but true. Harsh but true. And somebody actually asked me just the other day here on the channel why Poland did not declare war on the Soviet Union in 1939 if they hadn't, or why the UK and France didn't if they had an alliance with Poland. Well, actually, it was written into the alliance that they would defend Poland from German aggression. It didn't say anything about the Soviet Union. So when the Soviet Union invaded Poland from the other side, it wasn't covered by the treaty. I know it's kind of a dirty way to get out of it, but thank you, Insane. Thank you. Yes, we're hoping to make a trip to Europe to make some videos for the channel, and the GoFundMe was set up for that purpose. And what's great about that is that they take only a tiny, tiny percentage. So almost everything you donate, if you do it through the GoFundMe, goes directly to helping this channel. So, Michael, we saw that you posted that. I don't know the first thing about telling you what to do for basketball, but please stop spamming the same message or you're going to get banned from the channel. All right. Fascism is cured by reading, and racism is cured by traveling. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm supposed to laugh at that one, but yeah, there's Hitler reading and Hitler traveling. Okay, so maybe not so much. Do I teach at a university? No, but that is what I went to school for. That was my goal when I went to college, was that I'd be a history professor. It just didn't work out that way. All right, USSR. Fine, behold how happy we look as a couple in this photo. Eastern Bloc countries. Ouch. Okay. So that'll actually make a lot of sense when we do the Cold War reaction for Oversimplified, which won't be the one that I do tomorrow, by the way, because it's like in last place on the vote over on Patreon right now. So that probably won't be happening anytime soon. Let's check and see how many subs we're at right now. We're trying to get to 40,000 subs today on the channel. 39,639 as of the last moment. So we should hit 40,000 later on today. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Lucas, I appreciate that. Yeah, Raik. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Raik. This is kind of my outlet since I'm not teaching history in a high school or in a university. This has become my outlet for that. So I guess I don't get that one because I don't get the pop culture references here. Maybe somebody can help me with that one. Besides doing YouTube, no, I am not a teacher. I actually work for an organization called Rachel's Challenge, which I haven't done anything for the last year. So YouTube is my only job right now. And thank you everybody for the compliments. I travel around the country speaking in schools, but I speak about kindness and compassion, about treating each other better. I get to share about the story of one of my heroes. Her name was Rachel Joy Scott. She was killed at Columbine in 1999. My daughter's named after her, and her family's good friends of ours. So I work for them sharing her story. Laugh at, no. Nostradamus. I'm sure, I mean, I know who Nostradamus is. He was a guy who made a bunch of predictions back in I think it was the 1500s. But I'm not sure I get the reference there on that one. All right, girlfriend, high maintenance. Battleship Texas, high maintenance. Might need you to protect her. 10 to 12 inches of main armor. Probably won't look as good in a few years. Still looks good after 100 years. Has her body and personality. Has 10 14-inch main guns and 6 5-inch secondary guns. May or may not be loyal. Served in World War I and World War II for the U.S. Navy. In other words, the Battleship Texas is better than a girlfriend. Got it. Nice. So they're working on the Battleship Texas. I think it's in dry dock right now. And it's going to be in, like, dry. It's not going to be in the water anymore, if I understand right what they're doing with it. It's in Houston. That's one of the places I definitely want to visit at some point. To be fair, USS Texas has had many facelifts over the years due to numerous volunteers. Formerly crippled. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And thank you, Daniel. Any tips for learning about history? Just consume as much information as you can. Watch YouTube videos, but make sure you're watching YouTube videos from content creators who are interested in the truth and dedicated to getting it right. If I don't know something, I will usually tell you that I'm not sure about it. I don't speak as an authority unless I'm absolutely sure on things. Make sure that you get your sources right. There's a lot of information out there that may or may not be true. So make sure your sources are good ones, and question everything and look for second and third sources. When I hear something new and I'm like, holy cow, I never knew that, I go and look it up and I make sure that what I'm learning is true. A perfect example of that is this ongoing debate about the Bismarck being referred to as a he. And, for years, everybody has said, oh, Bismarck's a he, Bismarck's a he. Well, if you look at the actual information, that may or may not be true. Yes, Captain Lindemann of the Bismarck said to his crew on board the ship that a ship as powerful as Bismarck should be a male. And he required his crew members to refer to it as such, according to one of the surviving officers. The senior surviving officer aboard the Bismarck, later on, after the ship had sunk, said that. And that's the only reference we have to Bismarck being called a he by anybody, is that one guy talking about what the captain said. Everybody else at that time called Bismarck a she. So those are the kinds of nuances of history that you have to dive into and find the information. Read books. I'm constantly, I probably go through 20 to 30 full, 500 to 1,000 page history books a year. But every day I'm watching a documentary or I'm reading things on the internet. So I'm constantly trying to consume as much information as I can. There's a bit of text between the next meme I'm about to look at and the new ones. Okay, good to know. He was made to rule the waves across the 7 seas. What countries in Europe will I be visiting? My family, we're planning to take a trip to UK when we can. We're going to go to England and Scotland. After that, I'm personally, and what we're raising the money for on the GoFundMe is a trip to France, Germany, the Netherlands, and Belgium. Probably be a couple-week trip. So that's kind of the plan right now. All right, here we go. The girl you like, her grandfather, that's Patton, one of my all-time favorite generals. Not necessarily the best human being, but a phenomenal general. Is that... I can't tell who that is. Is that Nimitz? I think that's Nimitz. That's MacArthur, her brother. Her ex is that Rommel? I think that's Rommel. And you. Okay, nice. Am I a teacher? No, but I did go to school to be a history teacher. How often do I go live, Den? It kind of depends. I try to do it a couple of times a week on this channel, especially because we've got like almost 300 people watching right now. So please subscribe and hit like if you haven't already. Let's see. The Rebel Texan, you have a question about OBS and such without using a mic. So let me show you what I'm doing on OBS. I don't mind showing you that here. So I'm going to drag OBS into the screen so you can see it for a minute, and then we'll get back to some more memes. So this is what my screen looks like whenever I'm sorry, that's not OBS. That's actually my YouTube screen. Here we go. So this is what OBS looks like for me. And now you're going to see, like, it's like Inception. There's multiples of me going back. So I basically just use the default settings for the streaming. And then you just get this stream key from YouTube that you plug in. And then you just hit start streaming. You'll see here I'm just using the 1920 by 1080 settings, 30 frames per second. Really nothing fancy. And then I just have to set the volume settings for both the desktop audio and then what you can see here is my mic audio. I'm using I have a Blue Yeti microphone, which I absolutely love. I think is fantastic. And then the webcam that I'm using is actually my phone. It's my cell phone that I'm using as a webcam because it's got much better quality than my webcam does. So I hook up my cell phone through the charging cord to the computer, and then I use an app called Droid Cam. I think that's what it's called. Droid Cam Client. You download it on your phone, you download it on your computer, and you use that. So that's what I do. All right, let's scroll down here. When you have to drive to the market at 4 and liberate Bastogne at 5 with was that a 50 caliber machine gun sitting on top of it? Holy cow. That thing's got to weigh as much as the car does. Can I go to Auschwitz? I would love to, but I don't think I'll be going to Poland, at least not on my first trip. But I want to go to Poland. I think that's where Auschwitz is, where the Attack of the Dead Men was, one of my favorite stories from the First World War. But that will definitely be a subsequent trip at some point, for sure. Who's my favorite general? Oh, it's so hard. And Liam, I'll get to your question about history specialization in a second. I have favorite generals from different eras. Patton's my favorite general of the last 100 years. Though, again, to me, there's a difference between character as a human being, which I think Patton did not have the best character necessarily. He was definitely a racist and a bigot, but an excellent general, I think. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of Grant, though, again, I don't think he was necessarily the most phenomenal tactician on the battlefield, but a first-class human being. And so those are probably my two favorites right now. What would I say I specialize in history? Probably, well, first and foremost, the American Civil War, without a doubt. That is by far, I would put my knowledge and my wisdom and ability and study of the American Civil War up against probably some of the best in the world. I feel that confident in my knowledge of the American Civil War. Otherwise, British medieval history, American Revolution, World War I, World War II are areas I've studied a ton, but I'm trying to expand my horizons some. Joshua, hey, Hendricks, believe it or not, I preach part-time in the church on Sunday mornings. Today I finished a series on the book of Joshua in the Bible. So what's the most interesting thing I know about Hitler? Well, a lot of people know these things, but that his closest relatives are Americans. His nephew, William, became an American citizen, changed his name to Stuart Houston, and his grandnephews live on Long Island. 3 brothers, I think they were. All right, let's see. Where are we at? USA naming their ships Yorktown, Lexington, Bunker Hill, Ticonderoga, Bennington. Royal Navy just trying to help USA in the Pacific. So all of those names, if you're not familiar, are names of Revolutionary War battles. I think Bennington's War of 1812, that were fought against the British by the Americans. So that's kind of funny. Is that a cheese grater? Who is that supposed to be? I don't, oh, Alexander the Greater. Okay, I get it now. Check your name in the server. All right. Hi, YouTube. Insane says, I try not to read personal messages when I'm, in the middle of a stream. So that's why I hadn't opened it yet. All right, let's see where we're at. Germany, you can't defeat me. I know. And then a flag goes up. Oh, too soon. Apologies to my French friends. Leonardo, hello in Croatia. Have I watched the Netflix documentary World War II in color? I have. Very good. Very good indeed. What are my opinions of Montgomery? Oh, I go back and forth on him. Every time I read a book or I study, I think, okay, you know what? Pretty decent general. And I know Patton, as much as he probably never would have wanted to admit it, thought very highly of Montgomery as a general. But boy, his personality just as irritating as all get out. I mean, just probably the only person that I can't stand their personality, at least on the Allied side in World War II, more than that would be de Gaulle. De Gaulle was just don't like that guy at all. World War I happens. Germany, that was good. Let's get another one. Wow. Little Lord of the Rings reference there. That was good. What do I know about Brazil? Not very much. I know you guys primarily speak Portuguese there. I know it was the one country that was kind of east of the line of demarcation during all of that settlement of South America. But beyond that, honestly, not that much. I know you guys have fantastic soccer, or football as you call it there. You got Pelé from Brazil. I know that you guys built a brand new capital city in the jungle and called it Brasilia out of nothing, which is kind of awesome. Would I consider starting a history podcast? I suppose I could. My Discord should not be beeping right now, but maybe it is, so I'll mute this just in case. 10 reasons why we should succeed from the Union. I try not to watch the videos because I never know what I'm going to get. De Gaulle was super annoying. Yesterday I watched a 1979 movie starring Robert Duvall, who's one of my favorite actors, playing Eisenhower. And the guy who played De Gaulle was just annoying the heck out of me. And same with the guy who played De Gaulle in the Ike movie with Tom Selleck in it. On a scale from America, a country who threw tea in the harbor, to Britain, a country that invasively got the Chinese addicted to opium for tea, how much do you like tea? I don't even know where to go with that one. I'll go about right here. How's that? Because I don't like to get people addicted to opium. I should do a live stream where I insult I don't like to insult countries. My life is all about kindness and compassion and promoting those things. So I would rather compliment every country and say something good about every country. De Gaulle on De Gaulle, that's right. Do I know anything about Finland's history? Just about World War II, a little bit with the Winter War and that whole thing. I want to do a reaction to, there's a video about the Finnish sniper that everybody's been recommending to me, so I want to check that out. I've never been to Australia, but I've got a good friend who lives on the Gold Coast, who's a fellow speaker with Rachel's Challenge. Confederate monuments are part of my heritage. Destroying the Confederacy is a part of my heritage. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And I know that's a sore subject with some folks, but that was still pretty funny. States' rights. Arkansas is aroused. Arkansas men with elephantine power will make the Yankees quake and cower. Little Rock, 1861. Wow. Is that a real thing? Wow. Say something good about Germany, 1933 to 1945. Dietrich Bonhoeffer. There's something good about Germany in that time period. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, one of my heroes, a German, a great man in the middle of that time, who died at the hands of the Nazis for what he believed in. What do I know? Do I know anything cool about Swedish history? No. Oh, no. Are we messing up again? Hold on. Oh, no. I think we're good. I'm going to check my connection. All right, we should be up and running again. All right, we should be good to go. You love my Wi-Fi network name, yes. I don't know what it is about Sunday afternoons that for some reason we get lag with the streams. It's crazy. And part of it too is that I'm on low latency so that I can interact more in real time. What do I think about the state of... we don't use that name, M1 Abrams. We talk about the team up north, the state up north. You're going to get banned if you spam things. It's a good way to not get your thing seen. Say it once, please. If I don't see it, say it again in a little while. Anything from the Blue Division from Spain? Yeah, that's something we could cover at some point. Let's see. Favorite historical fact about Canada. Canada is America's hat. No, I'm kidding. Wow. What's something interesting about Canada? Actually, one of the things I'm really fascinated by is that, what was that mission? It was the British, the Franklin expedition. Oh, fascinating. I want to check something. I want to look into that a little more. Let's see. British soldier who fought in both world wars was shot in the face, head, ankle, hip, and ear. Survived a plane crash, tunneled out of a POW camp, and tore off his own fingers when a doctor wouldn't amputate them. He later said, "Frankly, I enjoyed the war." Dude, is that real? What's that guy's name? Can anybody tell me what that guy's name is? Could I do a tier list of World War II leaders? I'd have to study up a little more on that, but maybe do a video on the Kalashnikov. That's something we could talk about someday. I think they just made a movie about that. Do I know something about the Triple Alliance War? No, I really don't. Maine is just a baby Canada. World War II by Indy Nidell. Yes, I'm actually watching his World War I stuff right now. But I have seen a few of the World War II. Do I have a favorite Civil War general I like to study? Right now it's Grant. I'm a huge fan of Ulysses S. Grant ever since I did Ron Chernow's biography and then Grant's autobiography, which was very good. I'm the reason country music is so sad. Wow. Oh boy, that little Sherman storming through the South there. The King Tiger coming out of the smoke. The Americans after using all of their bazookas. Wow. Watch extra credits, The Great Northern War. Okay. Do I know anything about Amish police? I'm guessing they don't have many. I've never seen police, and there's a lot of Amish around where I live, so this one's hard to see. We'll skip ahead here. Oh, another Sherman one. Fire is red. My uniform's blue. I captured Atlanta. I'm coming for you. Happy Valentine's Day. Wow. Do I think during World War II, Stalin would be able to repel Hitler's attack without the winter? Boy, I don't know. But winter is a big part of the Russian defense, right? I mean, that's part of the thing with having to invade the Soviets. Have I ever been to the USS Yorktown? No, I was supposed to go to Charleston last year, and it got canceled, my trip, because of COVID. Do I know anything about Sarajevo? Not much. What do I think about the movie Dunkirk? I thought it was really good. A lot of people didn't like it because it didn't quite have the action that a lot of war movies have. But, ow, this hurts so bad. A talking fish, will you grant my wish? I don't have any magic. Oh, we're going to have another Sherman one. But I can set Southern infrastructure ablaze. What a coincidence. All right, here's the thing about that, though. I don't know that it was Sherman's people that burned Atlanta. Maybe, but... Have I heard of Mad Jack Churchill? No, I haven't. Who's my favorite figure other than a general or president in the Civil War? Other than a general or president. Greetings, Dirk. Boy, I got to think about that one for a minute. You know who's really cool is the guy who led the Andrews raid. The great train raid they did early in the war, and a bunch of guys got the Medal of Honor. So, yeah, I would have to go with those guys. That was really cool. All I need to know about Sarajevo is Sniper Alley. Wesley, that's very cool. I will do more Checkmate Lincoln Knights. I want to do the one about Gods and Generals, because I saw the headline said Gods and Generals is Southern propaganda, and I don't agree. At least with that sentiment, so I'm curious to see if maybe I disagree with what he says on that one. I haven't seen the animated history of Poland yet. Anything on the Asian subcontinent history? No, but we'll definitely have to get to some of that. I don't know a lot about Romania. Hey, Alchemist, can I have some elixir of immortality to live long and prosper? Yes. Actually dies like a boss. Civil War time. Nice, nice. Frog and Toad reclaim the Holy Land. Oh, man. Hey, that's Dan Sickles. Roses are red, violets are blue. Screw you, Meade, I outlived you. By a lot, too. He outlived Meade by like 40 years, which is crazy. Now, Meade is another guy that his stock is going up to me, and I'm going to do a stream probably later this week, just sharing my thoughts about the Battle of Fredericksburg now that I've been to the battlefield and I've taken a lot of time to study it. I'm really impressed by George Meade. But Meade actually died of his wounds. But he died of his wounds in 1872, 7 years after the war ended. But he was severely wounded multiple times during the war. He was shot 3 times at Glendale during the 7 Days battle. Was wounded again later on. Was nearly shot in the head at Fredericksburg. And those wounds bothered him the rest of his life. Do I know anything about Ataturk? No, not really. The video the quality should be good on the video. Check your settings. Do I think Trump was similar to Hitler? Not even close. And I hate when people throw the word Nazi around for modern politics. I don't talk about modern politics, and I'm not going to tell you what I personally think of any modern politician, but I think throwing around the word Nazi to describe anybody who disagrees with you is ridiculous. Oh, we're on a stroll. We're on a roll with Sherman memes right now. My interests include long marches to the sea and fire. Oh man. All right, we should be back up and running. Yeah, I'm actually connecting to my hotspot now. Okay, Griffin, Georgia declared April to be Confederate History Month. That's great. Let's celebrate it. I'll bring the matches. Why are we on such a long streak of Sherman memes right now? Thank you, Vertigo. I appreciate that. It is crappy internet day. If the Treaty of Versailles didn't exist, what can possibly happen to the world after? We'll never know, but boy, the world would have been very, very different. That's for sure. Charles. Okay, we're getting a British royalty meme now. Now, these chaps started wearing big fuzzy hats after shooting and bayonet your chaps to death at Waterloo, don't you know? is that the French Prime Minister? Yeah, that's him. Nice. A long march of Sherman memes. Man, we are on a long march of Sherman memes. If you don't like it, why don't you go back to your country? Oh, that's right. It doesn't exist. Okay, that's pretty good. Bosnians, we want to swim. Croatia, no. Why did that happen anyway? Anybody who's living in Bosnia Herzegovina or Croatia, can you tell me that seems really like a really rotten thing to do to the Bosnians? So why was it created that way? I will definitely react to all the oversimplified videos at some point. I don't think Cold War is going to be next because the vote on Patreon is not going the Cold War's way right now. So it looks like, in fact, why don't we go check out Patreon and see how the vote's going right now? Oh, not the messages. We want the posts. Here we go. So here's how the vote's going right now. It's 9 for the Russian Revolution, 6 for the French Revolution, and 3 for the Cold War. So it looks like, at least as of now, the Russian Revolution is winning that poll. They do have a small coastline. Where is it? It's not sea locked. That's good. Do I think the Allies would have been able to win World War II without the help from the USA? Without any help from the USA? Probably not. Without military help from the USA? Maybe. But I think you got to remember the USA, before the US even entered the war, we were sending a lot of stuff, and we did the same for Russia. We sent a lot of material and things like that. I think possibly with help from the USA in terms of weapons and supplies and food and stuff, maybe. Can I send you the Fredericksburg raw footage? Yeah, insane. We can probably do that somehow. I've got it all on my computer. I could probably drop it into a Dropbox or something for you. If I go back in time and I had the option to kill Hitler, would I? No. You know what I'd do instead of killing Hitler is I'd go back and slap some sense into the people that were doing up the Treaty of Versailles so that there's no Hitler that ever happens in the first place. Michael, thank you for that. The best defense is a good offense, and the best offense is fire. That's a good colorized picture of Sherman, though. I'll give you that. Yeah, without the Lend-Lease, UK collapses. Russia probably can't hang on without all the help. Pope Innocent III reclaiming the Holy Land. The Fourth Crusade pulling him back. Bosnia's coast is only 2 to 3 miles long. Wow, very cool. We actually get a lot of folks from Bosnia and Croatia on the channel, which is very cool. Any good facts about Joseph Stalin? Yeah, his daughter became an American citizen. His grandkids are Americans. Of course, so are the grandkids of Nikita Khrushchev. So is the heir to the Romanov dynasty an American. It's kind of funny how that happened. What kind of PC do I have? That's one that actually the viewers on my gaming channel bought me this PC. It's kind of a custom built one, eliminating the Confederacy. All right. Spot of the old King Cotton, Uncle Davis? No. Very well. over the way. So I guess that's the UK right there. Nice. That awkward moment you show up at the wrong rebel war reenactment. Nice. You had a kingdom and you had a coastline, and then Austro-Hungary happened. Yeah. If the USSR joined the Axis, not sure how the Allies could have won that. Hey, Jacob, fellow Ohioan. Stalin's daughter pulled a Uno reverse card. Yes, I have seen the movie Death of Stalin. It is a dark comedy, and it is pretty good. My favorite character by far is Jason Isaacs playing Zhukov. I think he was hilarious in that role. If you like dark comedies and you like history, I highly recommend Death of Stalin. It's very, very good. Armchair Historians videos, I'll have to check those out. 11th Corps is running again? What day is this? So, if you're not familiar with the American Civil War, back-to-back major battles, the Battle of Chancellorsville, Battle of Gettysburg, the 11th Corps got overrun and broke in disorder. So it was kind of kind of an ongoing joke there. 11th Corps was primarily German immigrants, and there was a lot of discrimination against them from the other Union soldiers, the native ones, especially after those two battles happened. If I had the option to stop one war, what would it be? World War I, because without World War I, the whole rest of the 20th century goes differently, and I think a lot of the other wars don't happen either. Will I react to Cold War or World War II weaponry? Yeah, we could do some of that at some point. Oh, geez, thank you. I appreciate that. Love the wholesome content. Thank you, Patrick. Let's see how we're doing on subs. We're working our way to 40,000, so that's going to probably happen today. I'm pretty excited about that. So if you haven't already subbed, help us out. 39,689, so we're about 300 away. Very cool. How do I know so much about my ancestors? I've been a professional genealogist for over 20 years. Been researching my own genealogy for over 25 years. So it's just thousands and thousands of hours put into it. Not only researching my family, but researching other people's families. So, if you put in enough time, you'll find those connections. Do I know any Dutch facts? No, but we got a bunch of Dutch people in here that could probably throw out some really good ones. If the Zimmerman telegram got to Mexico and they attacked America, would the Central Powers have won? I doubt it. No, I don't think that would have changed the outcome. Let's see. This is ahead. Is that Robespierre? That looks like Robespierre. Everyone else in France. This is the 7th week in a row you've shown ahead in class, Robespierre. Do I like hockey? I'm indifferent toward hockey. I'm not a big fan. Do I know anything about Chile? Yeah. Yeah, we don't really learn much of anything about Chile here either. If Europe intervened in the American Civil War, yeah, it would have made a huge difference in the South's favor, especially because I think the American populace would have probably wanted to settle for peace at that point. But I don't think that Europe was ever going to intervene in that war, not as long as the South had slaves. Not going to lie, it was smart to, I tried, Red Jesus. You will bring Bosnia to hell, Serbia will rise, Muslims will die. Will you shut up, man? Worst stripper I ever saw. Okay, so this meme, this is John Bell Hood at Gettysburg from the movie Gettysburg. And what he says there in the real scene is worst ground I ever saw. People forget John Bell Hood was like 30 years old at Gettysburg. He was a young dude. A lot of these generals were young. Ambrose Burnside was 38 at the Battle of Fredericksburg. Stonewall Jackson was in his 30s. Grant was, just like around 40 when the war started. A lot of these guys were really, really young. 22-14 Illinois over Ohio. Oh, I don't want to hear that, Tim. Tell me better news. Oh, we got behind here. Let's skip ahead to some new ones. Franklin, 1864, when Union artillery fires at a drummer boy trying to plug the cannon. Wow, that's so weird. They just disappeared. What do I think of Austro-Hungary? I think it was doomed to failure. I mean, there were just too many different groups of people. when you have that many different cultures and that many different, it's the same reason Yugoslavia didn't work out. It's the same reason that Czechoslovakia is now two different countries. It's the same reason Austria and Germany are separate countries now. Just culturally, too many differences, too many languages, all of those things. Christopher, thank you so much. I'm grateful. I appreciate the donation. Would I say that Ohio lost the Michigan War for Toledo? Yes, that's the joke here, Phil, is that Ohio and Michigan fought a war over Toledo and Ohio lost because we got Toledo, which is built on a swamp. Do I have a history reading list? No, but you know what? That's a really good idea. I should do that. I should make a list somewhere for you guys of like recommended books that I would suggest. Maybe like do something up on Amazon. Which reminds me, we are doing a giveaway for, I'm going to give away 3 biographies, either a audio book on Audible, or I'll have it mailed to you, the biography of your choice. The link's in the description to enter that. And we're going to draw those 3 names when we hit 50,000 subscribers, which the way things are going should be in probably a week or 2. My opinion of the movie 1917. I'm a fan. I think we need more good quality World War I movies. And there's so many good stories. The only thing I don't like about 1917 is that it's kind of a fictional story that's set in, it's kind of like Saving Private Ryan. It's a fictional story that has historical background to it, historical reality to it. But there's so many amazing stories about World War I that could be made into movies or remade into movies. I mean, they've been made before. There was All Quiet on the Western Front. There was the one about Sergeant York. There was the one about the Lost Battalion that came out a couple decades ago. But boy, we need some good 1917 or good World War I movies. History Geek, you were subscriber 17 to this channel. That's awesome. It's here, my Dan Sickles BS decoder ring. Let's see where we at on time. 45 minutes. 4 photos of Jennifer Lawrence that will make you say, wait, that's not Jennifer Lawrence. That's the Wehrmacht 24th Panzer Division. Would I consider Jutland one of the key battles of World War I? I don't know. I don't know that it really changed anything. All it did was force everybody to park their navies for the rest of the war, at least the Germans. So maybe it had an impact from the standpoint that by Germany not using their navy, they never attempted to break the blockade, and the blockade was a big part of why they lost the war. Have I seen the movie Birth of a Nation? No, I haven't. And, I've got mixed feelings about that because while part of me understands, it's about Nat Turner, right? Do I have an 75th anniversary coin from Iwo Jima? No, I don't. I have mixed feelings about the Nat Turner Rebellion. Thank you, Nathan. On one hand, I totally recognize the... Oh, my phone's doing something funny there. On one hand, I totally recognize the right for a slave to rebel against his enslavement. But murdering innocent people, or like the families, I'm uncomfortable with that. Even when they were slave owners, there's some things about the Nat Turner Rebellion that just have never really sat well with me, and has made it hard for me to support what happened, even though I totally get why as a slave you would want to rebel against your situation, and even kill the people who were enslaving you. I don't know if there should be a movie about what Phil, man, you're hurting me here, man. The drive or the fumble, they were all equally painful. The whole 1980s as a Browns fan was just brutal. So were the 90s. So were the 2000s. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, Patrick. I love Star Wars. I love Star Trek. I like Doctor Who. I'm a big fan of sci-fi in general. All right, let's do a few more here. Eastern Europe. We are finally free from the not Stalin. Hippity hoppity, you're now Soviet property. Oh, ouch. Worst U.S. president, in my opinion. Ugh. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say worst, but least favorite president, Woodrow Wilson. Not a fan of Woodrow Wilson. Um, I think there were a lot of people in the run up to the American Civil War who kind of kicked the can down the road, but I don't know if anybody could have done anything differently. Civil War battles in the West. Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing to cover sometime. The third Kursk video, probably later today. Am I a Tolkien fan? Yes, huge Tolkien fan. Maddie, very cool. Thank you. German infantry marches into Auschwitz fortress after killing everyone with mustard gas. Russian 226 Battalion. Surprised to see me? Very nice. Nice. The Attack of the Dead Men. If you're not familiar with that story, check it out. I've got a couple of videos on it, but boy, what a fascinating, what a horrifying story as well. The Attack of the Dead Men at Auschwitz fortress is amazing. Jack, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad that you're part of this community. And I say that, I've said that before, I'll say it again. One of the unexpected surprises to me when I first became a YouTuber 4 years ago with my gaming channel has been how much I've enjoyed the community. I have gotten to connect with people all over the world who love history as much as I do, who love talking about it as much as I do. My wife is not a fan of history. So I can't really talk to her about it. So this is my outlet for that. And you guys have become a big part of that. So thank you, every one of you, for being a part of this amazing community that we're building. 400 plus 76. The year the Roman Empire fell. 400 plus 76. Never. It's still alive in my heart. Oh, you like the cup? Yeah, the color. I have a green cup, which means that it doesn't show up in the green screen, with the green screen. Who do I think killed JFK? I think Lee Harvey Oswald did. Do I think that he was part of a larger conspiracy? Yeah, possibly. But once you've been there, I visited the site where Kennedy was assassinated a couple years ago. It wasn't that impressive of a shot. It wasn't this incredibly impossible shot that Oswald took, these shots to kill Kennedy. Give me a couple of days on a practice range and I could probably pull that shot off with that gun. It was not that far. And he was a guy who had military experience, was a trained marksman. It's not that big of a stretch to me. Underrated Civil War general Civil War. CSA, I'll go with the popular answer right now and say Patrick Claiborne for underrated Civil War general. USA, George Meade. There's a reason George Meade rose through the ranks as fast as he did. A year before he became the commander of the Army of the Potomac, he was a brigade commander. He rose fast because he was talented and he knew what he was doing, and he was a good leader on the field. Have I seen Peaky Blinders? I love Peaky Blinders. Some of Peaky Blinders was filmed in a pub that was owned by my great-great-great-grandfather in Glasgow, Scotland, called the Old Toll. And, of course, a lot of my family comes from Birmingham, England. So I really got into Peaky Blinders because of that. And some of you, you're typing stuff. The chat's going so fast, I'm missing a lot of things. So if you ask a question and I miss it, don't be afraid to put it again after a few minutes. Just don't spam it over and over again. Worst mistake in U.S. history, in my opinion. Oh, boy. There's so many. Not dealing with slavery at the end of the Revolutionary War. Not putting a plan in place to gradually eliminate slavery. Should have been dealt with then. Would have changed everything for our history. The third wave experiment, I have not. Joseph, you live in the West Midlands. My family comes from two places. One, Birmingham jewelry district, the jewelry quarter in Birmingham. On one line of my family, they were gilt toy makers in Birmingham. They lived right there. The Bull Ring is right where my family was from. They were like 2 blocks from the Bull Ring. And then on the other side of my family, they were from Tipton in the West Midlands. So very cool, Joseph. That's definitely on my list of places I want to visit when I'm in England, for sure. St. Patrick's Battalion, not something I know enough about. Let's do a few more memes. and then we'll wrap this up. We're getting close to my time limit. I wanted to be done by 4:30. Italian tanks in the wrong habitat. No mountains in sight. Am I into conspiracy theories? Chris M, which is my name, by the way. I'm also Chris M. Most conspiracy theories I just kind of discount and dismiss. One I am not willing to dismiss is the whole Hitler escaped to Argentina thing. Plausible. In fact, I would put it, if you had to nail me down and ask me to say what are the odds do I think, what do I think are the odds that Adolf Hitler escaped to Argentina? I'd say 60-40 it happened. That's probably the one major conspiracy theory that I'm willing to acknowledge is possible. There's a lot of evidence out there that makes it possible. Is it probable? I don't know. But I would say it's 60-40 is what I would say. If Hitler had won World War II, how long would he have held on to power? Till he died. I don't think that would have been that long, though. What do I think about U.S. intervention around the world the last 50 years? Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan. Sometimes probably necessary. A narrowboat builder in Birmingham. Very cool. Those boats on the canal. Awesome. Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones, and I like all the history references to it. When are we going to get a video on Morgan's Raid? When I can get down there and film it. I still got to edit my Chancellorsville videos and get those up. But then hopefully maybe in another week or two, I'll get down there and record. I want to get my drone going and fly over some of the sites associated with Morgan's Raid. I've been doing a lot of studying on it. I know exactly where things happened on the last day of Morgan's Raid. I've got things pinpointed right down to the exact fields where some of the clashes happened and everything. All right, let's take a look at just a couple more here, and then we'll finish up with the chat. Now, exactly where did the British Empire touch you? Ouch. Oh, man. He said he's got a Porsche. The English, Africans in Natal after the British annexed the Boers. You have freed us, the English. I wouldn't say freed, more like under new management. Oh, boy, wow. What if McClellan wasn't a strategic moron? Well, he was. What do I think about the 2019 movie Midway? I thought it was way better than a lot of other people did. What I loved about it was that they really stuck to history. Much more historically accurate than the one from the 1970s is. They did a good job of sticking to the facts. I just felt like they tried to do too much with that movie. Do I think the Constitution is a living document? No. I think the Constitution has an amendment process for a reason. If people want to make it interpreted to mean something different, they should pass a new amendment. Perfect example of that, and I don't want to get into modern politics, and I'm not expressing an opinion on the idea of abortion, for example, one way or the other. I do, however, find it absolutely ridiculous that the 14th Amendment, which was passed concerning the civil rights of recently freed slaves, was interpreted to give people the right to an abortion. That's the kind of thing I think is ridiculous. If you want to give abortion rights, fine, but that's not the way. So no, I think the Constitution has an amendment process for a reason, and if you want to change it, amend it. End of story. Superfed, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let's see. Do I like the movie Pearl Harbor? I like it more than a lot of people did. Yeah, you just have to take it as what it is. It's historical fiction. It's set in a historic time period, but they created a fictional story in it, kind of like Titanic did. And as long as you're okay with that, then I think you can enjoy it. What do I think about the Victorian era? I'm fascinated by the Victorian era. That time period, especially in England, was very fascinating to me. I'm really into Jack the Ripper and that whole time period. Does Grant really hate wearing army uniforms? I don't think he hated it. Do I think Patton was murdered? No, I don't, but I can see why people think that. I understand that. Daniel, lots of places I want to visit in Europe. After the UK trip, we're talking France, the battlefields of World War I, World War II in France, Waterloo, Belgium, the Netherlands, Operation Market Garden, maybe even some Western Germany if I get the chance. Man, we're talking 20, 30 videos worth of content you guys are going to get from any visit that I take to Europe. Would I recommend the movie Gettysburg? Absolutely. Do I think war has aided with intervention or invention? Yes. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? So, I mean, anytime, things were invented because of the moon landings. Things were invented because of war. A lot of inventions exist because they needed to be invented to make something possible, and that includes war. Absolutely. Peter, that's a good way of putting it. Grant was an alcoholic that knew when not to drink. That's pretty good. He never drank. Like, it wasn't so uncontrollable that it got in the way of him being able to do his job. He never drank when something was on the line. Phil, I will never agree with you on that. So you could probably just kind of give up on that one right now on West Virginia. Do I think Germany lost World War I because they moved soldiers from Marne to Tannenberg? No. I think they lost World War I because of a combination of, in the end anyway, there's a lot of factors. I don't want to be the guy that says America won World War I. That's not what I'm saying. But the combination of the Russian Revolution and Russia exiting the war, but also simultaneously bringing the United States coming into the war, and the ongoing blockade. So if Russia had left sooner, maybe Germany hangs on and wins. If America hadn't come in when we did, and if it hadn't been for the blockade. I think because America came in just in time to make up for the fact that Russia exited, that combined with the ongoing blockade just turned the German populace against it. And it caused Germany to make decisions they might not have otherwise made. If their people weren't starving, and if America wasn't coming into the war, I think Germany behaves differently in 1918, and maybe the war has a different outcome. Hey, I love the Swiss. United scored against West Ham. Nice, very cool. So a couple more minutes here. We're going to wrap up in just a couple minutes. Was Italy useful in World War II? I guess for a while. Would America have not entered the war if it weren't for the Zimmerman telegram? I think they probably would have eventually because of the ongoing unrestricted submarine warfare. Yeah, electric pizza. If Germany hadn't invaded through Belgium and maybe kept the UK out of the war, they probably could have taken Paris. They darn near took Paris anyway. And then maybe the Schlieffen Plan works, at least the part where they take France out of the war and go after the Russians. Leicester is 5-0 on Sheffield. Jeez. Wow. Well, Sheffield's falling apart, though, right? They're going to end up getting relegated. Would I consider Vietnam a U.S. loss? Yeah, probably. Favored woman in history? Well, you mean besides my wife, right? I mean, that's the answer I have to give. Oh, boy, there's a lot of fascinating women in history. Wow, I don't know if I can narrow it down to just one. That's a tough one. I'll have to think about that a little bit. I'm not surprised that there are active bomb sites still that are being cleaned up. Do I think if the U.S. came into the war slightly later or the Russians exited slightly earlier? Maybe. Rosa Parks is definitely a person worth looking up to. Clowns, I don't talk about my political ideology. My ideology, Harriet Tubman's a great choice too. Harriet Tubman's a pretty awesome lady. As far as I'm concerned, my political ideology is irrelevant. We all are here because we love history and we love talking about history. And I don't care if you're liberal or conservative. If you're a decent human being and you have strong beliefs that are intelligent and well thought out, and there's a reason behind it, and it's not just, well, that's what I was raised with. If you have firm convictions and you stand by those, I don't care what they are. So long as you're decent to everybody and you respect other people and you're kind, it doesn't matter to me. Marie Curie, excellent choice as well. was Lincoln's biggest fault? I'll wrap up with that question. Thank you to everybody for your kind words. Please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like and check out all the links in the description below. I would love to visit Sweden. I've got some Swedish military Swedish roots in my ancestry. All right, so Lincoln. That's going to be the one I wrap up with today. What do I think were Lincoln's biggest fault? Man, that's a tough one. There are things I don't like about Lincoln, but I don't know if they were faults. I think Lincoln was a little too meddly. He meddled a little too much with the military affairs. If there's one thing I wish Lincoln would have done differently, it would be to backed off a little bit more and let his generals do their job. I feel like Fredericksburg, and I'll talk about this in my stream where I talk about the Battle of Fredericksburg and my analysis of it. Janice, thank you so much. I would say, Giannis, take a wide range of history. Don't just study your own country's history. Don't just study one area. Get a wide variety of history and study a lot of different topics. And study things that you aren't necessarily interested in, too. That's something I'm trying to get better at. I think Lincoln meddled too much with his generals, and that led to things like Fredericksburg because Burnside pushed because he felt like he had to push. So I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you so much to all of your kind words. We'll do this again very soon. I like these meme streams because they're kind of a meme stream, but they're also just a great time for Q&A and to talk about things. Thank you for watching. And I'll try to get the next Kursk video up later, and there will be a reaction to Oversimplified tomorrow. And if you want to change which one I do, sign up over on Patreon right now and vote on the poll. So thank you guys. We'll see you again soon.